Have you ever pondered on the depth of Leviticus chapter 3 and what it truly means? This chapter, nestled within the Old Testament, is a treasure trove of historical context and spiritual wisdom. To fully grasp its meaning, we must first understand its place in time. Leviticus is the third book of the Bible, an integral part of the Mosaic Law given to the Israelites. Chapter 3 specifically details the laws concerning peace offerings, an essential aspect of their religious practices. It's a text deeply rooted in a time and culture far removed from our own, yet it still holds profound lessons for us today. But remember, interpreting biblical text isn't about merely reading words on a page. It's about immersing oneself in the world in which it was written, understanding the people to whom it was addressed, and the circumstances that surrounded its creation. Only then can we begin to see its relevance in our own lives. Now that we have set the stage, it's time to unpack the verses in this chapter. Verse 1 of Leviticus chapter 3 speaks about the peace offering, but what does this actually mean? To break it down, these first 5 verses introduce us to the concept of the peace offering. This played a pivotal role in the worship practices of the Israelites. The peace offering, unlike other offerings, was unique because it was a voluntary act of worship, a thanksgiving for God's goodness and mercy. It typically involved the sacrifice of an animal, either from the herd or the flock. The animal, free from any defects, represented the very best that the Israelite could give, a symbol of their gratitude and devotion. The offering was made by laying hands on the head of the animal, signifying the transfer of guilt or offering of thanks, followed by the animal's slaughter. The fat, the kidneys, and the portion of the liver were then burned on the altar, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. So the first 5 verses set the tone for the peace offering, a significant part of the Israelites' worship. Moving on to verse 6, we continue with the talk about the peace offering, but with a different animal. Why might that be? As we delve into verses 6 through 11, we find that the type of animal used in the peace offering is not arbitrary, but rather it carries profound significance. In verse 6, we see the introduction of a different animal, a goat or a sheep. The inclusion of these animals isn't just about variety, it's a representation of the diverse socio-economic classes within the Israelite community. Not everyone could afford a bull, so the option of a smaller, less expensive animal allowed everyone to participate in the ritual, regardless of their financial standing. As we move through verses 7 to 11, the specific parts of the animal to be offered are detailed. These parts, including the fat and the kidneys, were considered the best, and offering them symbolized giving one's best to God. As we can see, every detail, even the type of animal, had a specific purpose in these rituals. In the final verses, we see a repetition of the peace offering instructions, but why? From verses 12 to 17, we find a repetition of the peace offering instructions that we've previously discussed. It might seem redundant, but it's important to note that repetition in ancient texts is often a way to emphasize significance. Here, the repetition underscores the importance of the peace offering as a crucial part of the worship process. It's not just about the act of sacrifice itself, but also the respect and reverence shown towards it. Each detail, each step of the process is a testament to the faith of the worshipper and a testament to their commitment to peace and harmony. The repetition serves as a reminder that this isn't a one-time act, but a continuous practice that needs to be ingrained in the everyday life of the faithful. And so, we conclude the verse-by-verse breakdown of Leviticus chapter 3. So what can we take away from Leviticus chapter 3? Leviticus chapter 3 outlines the peace offering, a voluntary act of worship, a celebration of divine fellowship. This offering, unlike others, wasn't to atone for sin or guilt, but rather to express gratitude and peace with God. It symbolizes a harmonious relationship between God and his people, a bond built on mutual respect and love. The peace offering could be from the herd or flock, either male or female, emphasizing God's acceptance of all offerings given with a sincere heart. The offerer would lay hands on the animal, signifying identification with the offering, a beautiful symbol of unity and shared peace. The fat, the best part, was burned, representing complete devotion to God. The chapter, rich in symbolism, underscores God's desire for peace with his people, a theme that permeates throughout the Bible. As we close, remember that Leviticus chapter 3, like all biblical texts, invites us to reflect on our own relationship with the divine. Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here to go straight to it.